Good day everyone, this is Kyle East Alicaba and we are Group 4. And we're here to talk about global demography, global migration and global citizenship. And we're allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardenes, to use this as an educational material.
Good day everyone, I am Engine Cadet Hituro and I am here to talk to you all about the theory of demographic transition as it affects global population. In demography, demographic transition is a phenomenon and theory which refers to the historical shift from high birth rates and high death rates in societies with minimal technology, education, and economic development to low birth rates and low death rates in societies with advanced technology, education, and economic development, as well as the stages between these two scenarios. Although this shift has occurred in many industrialized countries, the theory and model are frequently imprecise when applied to individual countries due to the specific social, political, and economic factors affecting this particular population. So there are 4 stages to classical demographic transition model. The first stage is pre-transition, characterized by high birth rates and high fluctuating death rates. In this stage, mortality rates are high due to poor sanitation, poor water quality, high rates of disease, and high rates of famine. The fertility rates are high due to the lack of family planning and cultural need for children. Population in this stage tend to be rural and agricultural, so family needs kids in order to work the land and to survive. The second stage is early transition. During the early stage of transition, the death rate begins to fall. This period of rapid development growth, the rates come down slightly but the death rate decline drastically due to the better medical facilities. There is a higher per capita income, better housing facilities, and higher living standard for people. This stage is also called the period of population explosion. As birth rates remain high, the population starts to grow rapidly because birth rate remain high but the death rate began to fall. The third stage was late transition. Birth rates starts to decline in this stage. Birth rates fail due to various fertility factors such as access to contraceptions, increased wages, urbanization, a reduction in subsistence agriculture, an increase in the status and education of women, a reduction in the value of children's work, an increase in parental investment in the education of the children, and other social changes. In these stages, population growth begin to level off. The rate of population growth decelerates. So the fourth stage is post-transition. Post-transitional societies are characterized by low birth and low death rates. Birth rates fails due to various fertility factors such as access to contraceptions, increase in wages, and urbanization. And also in this point, industrialization and urbanization happens at a very high rate. Science and technology is at very advanced level and medical facilities are top-notch. Population growth is negligible and or even enters a decline. So here is an example of a model of the 5 of the stages of demographic transition. As you can see, in the first stage, birth rate is high, death rate is high, so the population is stable or slow in increase. In the second stage, the birth rate is high but the death rate fails rapidly, so there is an increase in population. In the third stage, birth rate is failing, death rate is failing slowly, so the population increase slows down. In the stage 4, the birth rate remains low, death rate also is low, so the population starts to fail and then stabilize. And also in the stage 5, yet to be seen, possibly failing further or possibly rising again. So the theory of demographic transition affect global population. The theory of demographic transition predicts how a population will change over time in regards to the mortality rates and the fertility rates, as also the age composition and life expectancy. All these factors must be taken into consideration when studying specific human population growth. So, and also demographic transition posits with the improvement in health, mortality rates starts to drop faster than fertility rates. This results in short-lived increases in family size due to the lag between mortality and fertility. Population will increase. The sheer increase in the number of individuals in the country increases.
Hi everyone, I'm Engine Cadet Terence Wamar. My topic is all about analyze the cultural and social display, firsthand, and knowledge of the experience of OFW. OFW, we all heard the word OFWs. We all know they are the modern hero. They are the strongest. They had to work hard to look after their families. It requires more than just determination to endure and continue hard work for the family and for the sake of the family. That's something we should be proud about. They face a variety of challenges, including physical, mental, social, and emotional. They work abroad to support their families and make important contribution to the economy and growth of the country. OFW represent not only the country and economic, but also their families and loved ones, for whom they strive hard to provide a better life. Here are some most of the common challenges Filipino abroad face. First is the homesicknesses. It is distressing when they miss important events like special occasion and not seeing their kids grow up in return for giving them the best life possible. We must learn how to deal with missing out on important milestones and celebrations like birthdays, anniversaries, and graduations. You may not be able to attend these things, which can be tough and heartbreaking. Good thing, it is easier to communicate with your loved ones through technology and knowing updates through social media and messaging apps. These things have bridged the gap between relatives living away from each other. Another thing is to overcome the communication gap and cultural differences. Working in other country, dealing with the locals, and communicating with them can be exhausting. It may take a while to adapt and adjust, but living abroad will hone your language skills. Culture. People have different customs and traditions. What is natural for Filipino may be unnatural to other nationalities, especially in the workplace. Researching the work culture of the country where the OFW will work is one strategy to combat this possibility. This manner, the OFW will know what to expect before arrival and will be able to intellectually, physically, and emotionally prepare for the changes that will occur. Getting first-hand information can be as simple as asking other Filipinos about a country's culture. Job loss. There are instances when OFWs lost their job. In this case, making end meet is a big problem that they have to solve at the quickest instant. The layoff may be caused by economic difficulties of the country host or unexpected circumstances like political instability and war. For example, Ukraine OFWs and other Filipinos are currently jobless as a result of the war of Ukraine and Russia. And some Filipinos have decided to return home for their safety reasons. Imprisonment. Being kept in prison is the worst nightmare for anyone. Staying out of trouble is the best solution. Follow the guidelines set by the Philippine embassies and be knowledgeable about the existing laws and tradition in the host country. If possible, make friends with trustworthy Filipinos or foreigners. Tell your family and friends about your activities abroad so they would instantly seek the help of the proper authorities should anything amiss happens. Working in a foreign country necessitates a great deal of patience and bravery. Although problems are expected, living abroad may be a fascinating experience if properly prepared. When you're in crisis, stay in touch with families and friends. Knowing where to go for support and having an emergency fund can all come in handy. Financial. Most Filipinos think that working abroad will earn them big money, but sometimes they don't receive the high income that they expected. Since they send almost of all their income to their families back home, they need to make sacrifices and even neglect their basic needs while living abroad. Maltreatment. There have been many stories told by OFWs about being maltreated abroad. This has been one of the most dreaded problems that any OFW would like to avoid. Nobody wants to be physically and psychologically harmed. And that's all. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Engine Cadet Balbuena Earl Justin, and this is my assigned topic, the economic and the political factor underlying the global movement of the people display first-hand knowledge of the experience of OFWs. The OFWs or the overseas Filipino worker is a person from the Philippines who is living working in another country, typically on a temporary basis. Mostly Filipinos prefer to work other countries because they are likely to earn greater work and life opportunity for their needs and for their family. Based on the survey that the PSA, the Philippine Statistic Authority, conducted in 2019, about 2.2 million are working abroad. They have been dubbed as the country's modern heroes. Ever since in 1980, they helped a lot in keeping the economic rise with their significant contributions in household income, standard of living, purchasing power, multiplier effect, exchange rate, balance of payment, and foreign services. That's why they are the top priority of the government. As of 2018, the remittance sent by the OFWs accounted 11% total GDP, the gross domestic product of the country. The OFW's remittance closes the gap between the poor and the wealthy by contributing to the growing middle class. The inflow of the remittance sent by the foreign workers are not only contribution at the macroscopic level of the Philippines economy, but also the microscopic level of household remittance. On the other hand, being an OFW is not only the good side, they have also the bad side. Being an OFW is a tough job. It's about taking risks and giving up everything in your comfort zone and leaving loved ones. They also experience being discriminated and sometimes abused. One thing most an OFW consider is their recruitment. The OFW most careful on applying works on board. That's why the government made an agency that recruitments legally and prevent illegal recruitment, which is POEA, the Philippine Overseas Employment Administration, and an agency the WWA, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration. That's protects the interest of the OFW, providing the social security, cultural services, and help with the employment, remittance, and legal matters. There are also Republic of Acts laws that are behind every OFWs to feel them secured and protected. An act that institute the policies overseas employment and established a higher standard of protection and promotion of the welfare of migrant workers, their families, and overseas Filipinos is distressed, and for other purposes. Republic Act number 8042, the migrant workers and the overseas Filipinos, and the Act of 1995. Government must keep an eye to the OFWs, for they are part of our community and focuses their safety and security. So that's all my report. Thank you. I'm Engine Cadet Balbuena.
Good day, this is Cadet Pagay and I will be talking about global citizenship. I have prepared 2 questions to be answered in this discussion. First, what do you mean by global citizenship? Second, how do you describe being a global citizen? Or what will you do in order for you to be a global citizen? First, let's define what is a global citizenship. Global citizenship means an awareness of the interconnectedness among people, societies, and environments around the globe. In another term, it emphasizes responsibilities and contribution to a global society and economy. For example, we are now in a world which we are more connected around the globe because of technologies and advancement of transportations. Just like with today's ability to travel by air and water, people can buy things from all over the world. You may eat a hamburger in USA, or watch movies or series that was made from another countries. Just like me, I watch Korean novellas and anime, which are made from Korea and Japan. So, how do you describe being a global citizen? And what will you do in order for you to be a global citizen? So, there are many types of global citizenship, which will be discussed by my other team member. But let's focus on the whole idea on what is being a global citizen like. Global citizen is someone who is aware and understands the wider world and their place in it. In another term, a global citizen is someone who identifies with being part of an emerging world community and whose actions contribute to building this community's values and practices. Nowadays, we are much more connected and understands more about what happenings in all over the world because of the advancements of technologies. In short, in my opinion, we are now becoming a global citizen thanks to globalization. Why did I say that? It is because we buy or sell products that are made from another countries. We have the abilities to understand more about the other country's culture because of the videos that we watch online. We tend to do things that what makes you a global citizen, but not knowing we already are a global citizen. For example, we buy beauty products that is made from Korea because we see them as beautiful people or they have the perfect skin based on what we have watched online. We also get passports in order for us to travel around the globe or in order to us to know more about the other countries. Also, we make friends from other countries online or face to face and sharing or knowing each other's culture. And last, we share the same goal, which is to have peace and build a better world. Just like today, as I have watched online, there are scientists that are protesting to stop using fossil fuels because it might be the end of the world if we keep using it, according to their analysis. It already reached many people because of technologies, and now people are aware and knows what to do. So let's take a step and help to build a better world.
Good day everyone. I'm Engine Cadet Redito Niel. So today we will tackle the global migration in the contemporary world. First, we will define what is migration and what is the contemporary world. So, migration is the act or process or an instance of being migrating, or it is the act of people or the action of people live from here, transfer into another place. Then the contemporary world is marked by characteristic of the present period or the modern period. So happening, existing, living, or coming into being during the same period of time. What is global migration? Global migration is a situation in which people go to live in foreign countries, especially in order to find work. However, the reason why people migrate differ depending on an individual situation. So, ang dili lang kay ang pagbalhin sa foreign nga countries mao na ang migration. Pwede po may tabo ang migration here sa ato nga country. Like ako taga Bohol, like for example, ako taga Bohol, then mamalhin mig puyo sa Cebu because sa amo nga kuan ba, amo depending on the individual situation. Kanitan kay nana dito ang akong family nagtrabaho mo tong adto na mayo mana mi migrate mi og lain nga lugar mo na ang kuan sa migration. Why do people move? So global migration can be understood as a cause and effect relationship. Though the causes are just as numerous as their effects. So people move across international borders for a variety of reasons, including safety. Namalin sila puyo kay para safety sila. Kasagaran katong for example katong nakuan sa Bagong Odette ang katong di ba ang mga nagrabihan jud ang katumang daplin sa dagat. So para safety sila namalhin sila nga dili na sila daplin sa dagat kay sa mga katalagman, mga bagyo, hangin mo na sila. Then natural disaster, political conflict, like for example sa karon na sila kanang conflict sa mga politician na sila lalis maton numalin sila kay para mahilom ng nga isyu para dili na samok maton ibalhin lang sila og laing namalhin sila og laing kuan lugar para peace ilang kuan pagpuyo. Then the education, so common naman kayo nga ang uban namalhin og puyo, namalhin sa Cebu sa katong naay mga eskwelahan aw katong namalhin sila tungod sa ilang pag-eskwela. Then family, career or economic betterment. Then the push-pull factor. It is a factors in the destination country that attract people to a new place largely because of the opportunities presented in the new location were not available to them previously. Example, a family moving from a country with minimal job or opportunities of a successful career. Then the beneficial element that the new country present encourage people to migrate there in order to seek a better life or their families. A push factor refers to conditions which force people to leave their homes. Then a person who would typically move because of distress or safety, natural disaster of or political conflict, umano na to sa akong why do people move. So does migration improve the quality of life? Whether individual migrate due to push factor that are undeniable benefits involved in adapting to a new country. Then same benefits are simply fun and exciting, learning a new culture and experiencing new opportunities such as tasting new foods and getting to know a different approach to communication or immersing yourself in the new cultural activities can be exciting and enriching, and hope nga you learn something from my presentation, and that's all.
Good day everyone, I am Is Alicaba and I'm here to talk about the 4 types of migration. So let's start. 4 types of global migration. First, we have labor migration. There are 2 varieties of labor migration. First, we have highly skilled labor migration. This represents only a small percentage of migration, and it is a type of migration most demanded by host countries who develop special types of incentives to attract highly skilled labor, often in specific categories such as doctors and nurses. Some of them migrate due to access to professional development opportunities, such as better training and more varied experiences, can be a strong reason for leaving. To make their next career step were most interested in and felt they had the most gain from working abroad. Next, we have unskilled low-wage labor and temporary migration. Unskilled low-wage labor was the main type of migration which played a very important role in the economic reconstruction of the industrialized countries. Not all of this immigration is legal in some countries such as the USA. This constitutes the largest percentage of economic migration and is the process that attracts more attention from the media and social organizations. Next, we have forced migration. Forced migration includes not only refugees and asylum seekers fleeing war or political repression, but also people displaced from their homes by projects such as dams or roads or as a result of certain natural disasters. Castles also referred to another mode of forced migration, the trafficking of people, with special emphasis on women and children destined for the sex industry. Forced migration is a subject to migratory movement in which an element of coercion exists, including threats to life and livelihood, whether arising from natural or man-made causes. Next, we have international retirement migration. International retirement migration is a phenomenon of the northern countries, such as Germany, the UK, and the Nordic countries, characterized by the residential mobility of retired people who have the economic power to buy properties abroad. Retirement is the main push factor to initiate this migration process. As a pull factor, the pleasant climate characterized by warmer temperatures and landscape, a quality lifestyle associated with a healthier and slower pace of life, and also the availability of information about the countries as well as previous holiday experiences are all elements that attract immigrants to Southern European countries. So the bottom line of international retirement migration is simply to have a simple and better life and a relaxed life to spend your retirement. Next, we have internal migration. This type of migration occurs inside a particular country and between regions, especially from economically poor areas and rural parts to major cities. The effects during the 90s can be explained by the social and economic disadvantage of living in some areas. This trend, which had occurred in Western Europe for centuries, had been more or less arrested in the Eastern Bloc due to social controls. But once the socialist system collapsed, along with the economies, large-scale migration occurred which, with the incorporation of many of these countries in the EU, became transformed into international labor migration. These patterns of internal migration can be quite complex and have profound effects on the land use as well become clear. Internal migration happens mainly because of the scarcity or shortage of employment, because I have observed it is what happening in here in Philippines. For example, here in Cebu, we migrate to Manila to work because there's a lot of opportunities in there, but from people from Bohol or Negros came to Cebu because they also think that Cebu has a lot of opportunities for them. So yeah, it's mainly for employment and economical reasons. And that's all for today. This is the end of my topic, and I'm Kyle Ace Alicaba. Thank you, everyone.
Good day, everyone. I'm Engine Cadet Embradora DJ. I'm here to talk about why there is a global migration. So, before jumping in our conclusion, first is we must to know what is global migration. So, a global migration is a situation in which people go to live in foreign countries, especially in order to find work, and most global migration is from developing countries to developed ones. Global migration patterns. The positive effects of global migration is that Many countries' social and economic lives are shaped by migration, but the profile of migrant population varies greatly. This is due in part to the diversity of migration sources. Citizens in much of Europe, for example, have extensive freedom of movement rights. Benefits and drawbacks of global migration are as follow. There are benefits and drawbacks of migrating. Getting better places, interacting with people, and learning their way of life are just a few examples of the benefits. Death, livestock, thief, and conflicts are all disadvantage. The positive impacts of global migration. People's quality of life improve as they learn about new cultures, costumes, and languages which promote brotherhood among them. The migration of skilled workers boosts the region's economic growth. People's quality of life improves as a result of migration. The implication of global migration. Migrants' labor being both desirable and necessary for economic growth and recovery from the current recession. Today's significance of global migration, the working age population grows as a result of economic growth and migration. Migrants bring skills with them and contribute to the development of human capital in receiving countries. Migrants contribute to technological advancement as well. If our societies are going to debate the role of migration effectively, we must first understand these effects.
And that is the end of my report. And I would like to turn my chair to our last reporter, Engine Cadet Elmar Porlares.
So I am Cadet Porlares. So I am here to report the advantage and disadvantage of global migration. So first, we will tackle the advantage of global migration. So the first one is the addition to human resource professionals such as doctors or engineer. So what is human resource migration? So labor, mobility, and migration confront human resource managers with a number of unique challenges. Migration is the territorial movement of people, both temporary and permanent. Migration presents opportunities and challenges to managers and policy makers. So next is helps to any labor shortage. So it will lessen the shortage of the certain country because there's a lot of there's a lot of people who will migrate, and it will lessen the shortage of such the country. The next one is the migrants are more prepared to take on low or high paid low skilled job. So as a migrants, they are willing to take all the risk even if it is a high or low salary, and because the benefits of the other country is better than the country they are staying at. So So next is we will tackle the disadvantages of global migration. So first thing is the shortage of professionals in the host country, lack of doctors or engineers. So for this, because all the professional will migrate to migrate to the other country, so it will shortage the professionals or the host of the countries because they migrate to the other country for a better salary or better benefits. So the next one is overcrowding. So overcrowding, the rate of population growth is the rate of natural increase combined effects of migration. Thus a high rate of natural increase can be offset by a large net out migration, and low rate of natural increase can be countered by a high level of net migration. So the next one is the disagreements between different religions and cultures. So for this if you will migrate to other countries, so there is a conflict about the religions and the culture. So you must adapt what the culture of the country you will migrate. So and the last one is the increase in population. So increase of population in migration. Similarly, migration will reduce aging in affluent religion and increase in poor ones. Most countries and regions experiencing population decrease, those so mainly due to natural change, the difference between births and deaths, while regions which gain population do so mainly due to extra Europe migration.